For our inaugural session today morning, we have with us our chief guest, Sri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Honorable Minister for Communications, Electronics and Information Technology, and Law and Justice, Government of India. Welcome, sir. It is our pleasure and honor to have you join us as chief guest for the third time for this summit, sir, and first time virtually. The last two times we had you in Delhi was in person, sir. Sir, also please join me to welcome our moderator for today, Mr. Anand Goenka, Chairman of IAMAI's Digital Advertising Committee, member of our Governing Council, and Executive Director, Indian Express. Under Anand's leadership, we have seen a legacy company like Indian Express become the largest digital news company of today's time. Welcome, Anand, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you, Gaurav. Ravi ji, very warm welcome and thank you so much. आपकी गवर्नमेंट की फर्स्ट टाइम की IAMAI जो डिजिटल समिट हुई थी, this was I think 10 years ago now, and you were the chief guest then, and again you're the chief guest today, and you know there cannot be a more appropriate chief guest for this annual program than you. So
thank you.
So very warm welcome. You know, everything that is happening in this pandemic, I think has been accelerated by arms of literally of your ministry. The whole country has gone so digital, and all of that was enabled literally, I think, in the last 7-8 years of your effort has come from your side as a very progressive technologist yourself. The kind of effort that you have put in terms of building the infrastructure, this pandemic would have been much harder had India and had your ministry not invested in that infrastructure. So I think this pandemic was made a little bit easier because of you and your efforts. So firstly, thank you and welcome. I want to start with the first with the biggest issue that I think right now is a big success really is the Indian government's the PLI schemes. We have been looking at a $2 billion import bill of electronics a month, which I think the PLI scheme has worked very hard to incentivize people to actually start manufacturing in India. If you can share a little bit with us about the PLI, about what's next in PLI, how successful it's been, what the roadblocks have been.
Anand, Gaurav, thank you for the kind words. Yes, we have just concluded 2020 and we have commenced the new decade. And last year was indeed very challenging. As I say in lighter vein, no rail, no train, no flight, no road movement. But the three arms of my department were working overnight: the communication, the IT, and the postal, to keep the country going. A country of the size of 1.3 billion plus was not interrupted was because of the proactive measures which we took. Notably, work from home. I liberalized the entire regime of work from home. Today, 85% of India's IT operations went like that without any interruption. Now we have concretized it at work from anywhere, a new norm globally speaking. The second, we have to reach to the common people of the country so that their life is not interrupted. And Digital India, when I was defining it, I had consciously made an emphasis. Digital India is designed to empower ordinary Indians with the power of technology, bridge the digital divide, and bring in digital inclusion. And this must be achieved through technology which is homegrown, developmental, and inclusive. Inclusion was the hallmark of Digital India. And how we could deliver during these challenging times. Very sure, Anand, that India has a huge number of mobile phones, internet. We opened 370 million bank accounts of poor, and we linked all that with Aadhaar, digital identity, to supplement the physical identity. And just to give you one number, in the last 5.5 years, we sent direct benefit transfer to close to 13 lakh crore, 175 billion to banking of the poor, and we saved close to 1.7 lakh crore, $24 billion. Working on this, we disbursed close to 8,000 crores to Aadhaar enabled payment during the COVID. My postal department did a great job in that, reaching the farthest corner of the country, where there is no bank or no ATM, but my Dakia went with his Aadhaar enabled system and made the payment. You may have seen my common service centers. It's very important. I need to flag it because this will enable me to elaborate on the PLI. They are digital kiosks. Their number was close to 80,000 when we had come to power in 2014. I have raised it to close to 4 lakhs, 3,77,000. 12 lakh boys and girls are involved in the entire country in digital delivery of services. From literacy to giving of land records to digital payment, a whole range of things. I asked them to establish e-Gramin stores to cater to the needs of the poor people in the far-flung areas of the country. All these are in small Kasbai towns and Gram Panchayat. Anand, you will be happy to know that 1.40 lakh e-Gramin stores are working, and they home deliver 15.50 lakh orders, having transactions worth 150 crores. Now, just understand the innovative spirit of Indians, how they responded during these challenging times. Arogya Setu, you know very well, contact tracing, nearly 16.77 crore downloads have been there. The Prime Minister announced optical fiber network to connect all the 6 lakh villages of India in 1,000 days in the last 15th of August. They are working in a very expeditious manner on that. We recently launched Vani. What is Vani? Public Wi-Fi, which even a chaiwala can operate, a grocery shop owner can operate. So these are indeed tectonic shift in the digital ecosystem. And I'm very happy to tell you that even in this vaccination, COVID digital platform is going to play a very crucial role in managing the logistic of vaccination data. Therefore, from vaccination to digital payment, to digital delivery of services, to direct benefit transfer, all this could fructify in a very effective manner because of the digital India ecosystem which we have laid down in the last 5 years. I'm not highlighting e-Kisan, e-Visa, e-Scholarship, which are e-Hospital, which are going on. I'm particularly highlighting what we could do in this pandemic. We hear a lot about Kisan these days. We also launched an e-Kisan platform. You'll be happy to know that close to 1,000 digital mandis are available on e-Kisan. And nearly 2 crore farmers are using it. And hundreds of crores of transactions have taken place. What is important is, yes, in this during COVID, I found that large number of farmers were destroying their crops because they're not getting market. Then through CSC, we have developed an agriculture platform which links the producer and the trader, and the goods can be sold overnight. My Bihari lychee has reached London. Do you know it? This process. Therefore, I'm satisfied. I will never say I'm very happy. We have again to go further. But the roadmap which we set up for Digital India has started giving results. Now, coming to your, yes, invoking my hat as a law minister, you'll be happy to know that 50 lakh cases have been conducted digitally during this pandemic when the courts were not working physically. Therefore, all the aspects we have been able to maintain without interruption is because of the digital ecosystem which we have been able to develop. Now, coming to the PLI, let me also give a basis for you and for your viewers and participants. When we had come to power in 2014, there were only 2 mobile factories. Now India is home to 268 mobile factories. We have become the second biggest mobile manufacturer in the world after China. And it is one of my pious wishes, if I can use that expression, to enable India to become number one. We are working on that because we have got talented young people, we have got ecosystem. And I'm very happy that Atmanirbhar Bharat is your theme of this interaction. Now, if you come with good policies, Anant, what happens? I would just wanted to tell you, we came with the earlier scheme of MSIPs, which we used to give to people to set up shops. We spent just 1,000 rupees, 1,000 crores, mark my word, 1,000 crores. And the units ended up giving GST worth 34,000. Therefore, changing mindset is important. That if you come with the right policy initiative, then people do respond. Based on this success of MSIPs and electronic manufacturing surge, we decided to go in a big way on production link incentive. What is production link incentive? In plain terms, it means you manufacture, you produce, you export, and we'll give you incentive. That is a simple meaning of production link incentive. The idea is, Anant, to bring global champions company to India and enable Indian companies to become nationally champion. Global champion and national champion. This is how it works out. The second thing important is, you can't have a barat of companies. You must stress upon the core companies who have the capacity, the talent, and the potential to become global champion because they have past records, or Indians who have got the promise to become. Then and mark my word, Anant, we launched this scheme during the height of COVID in April 2020. Just to test the capacity of India and the attraction of India, I fixed April 31st as the last date for filing the application. And I'm so thrilled to share with you, Anant, that all the top companies have applied and they have committed to make mobile phone and equipments worth 10 lakh crore in the coming 5 years, out of which 7 lakh crore is for exports. And it will give job that nearly 9 lakh. Many of the factories have shifted base to India, the top companies, the Foxconn, the Wistron, the Pegatron, all contract manufacturers have come to India in a very big way. And I'm very thrilled to share that India today is the hub of global companies, top global companies, mobile manufacturing. And this process is irreversible. What future I further want to add up to this initiative? India must become the biggest center of laptop manufacturing, of your machine-to-machine equipment, of tablets, etc. The world is waiting to come to India in a very big way. And I want to develop that ecosystem from mobile phone to smartphones, to laptops, to tablets, to M2M machines, to IoT devices. India must become a huge center of these equipment manufacturing. And my reason is very obvious. 3 reasons. A, many of the Indians are working there. Okay, we must give them the scope. B, India is home to extraordinary human resource talent in this field, from R&D to manufacturing. 3, India is a big market by itself. You know it very well. And lastly, obviously, the inspiring leadership of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because of which India is being looked towards differently these days. Okay. And because of the strategic challenges which the world is facing, I'm quite sure every manufacturer is wanting to have alternative locations. I'm keen to pitch India as that robust alternative location. And I'm very happy that if during the challenging times of COVID, I could get this response, many factories have been relocated to India, then I see a good, promising road lying ahead. Before I give the floor to you again, one point I would like to clarify. Atmanirbhar Bharat does not mean an isolated India. Atmanirbhar Bharat means India as an active participant of the global economy to accelerate that process. Logistic, supply chain, and obviously manufacturing. And I'm quite sure India has all the capacity to execute that in a very, very effective way. That is the whole PLI scheme and the electronic. And one thing more I must tell you, electronic manufacturing is one segment which is environment friendly. There is no smoke, there is no hazardous emission of gases, etc. This is how I foresee, and I'm pretty sure that India's time in this global ecosystem of electronic manufacturing has come. That's how I see it.
Thank you so much, Ravi, for a lovely address and absolutely appropriate as always. So I'll just follow up with a few questions. The first one, which I can't resist, is electronic manufacturing. Of course, is environmentally thing, but I think our e-waste disposal, wahan pe I think we have a long way to go in organizing that.
I totally agree with you. We are working also on that. We have set up a center of excellence for that.
Right.
I've set up a committee also for that. The pollution board also has a system, rules in place.
Yes.
And I've already told my department, please work out a holistic plan.
Yes.
For e-waste disposal.
Yes.
We are working on that.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And second thing I must tell you, in my initial stages, I had a lot of challenges where second-hand mobile market, people were looking towards India.
Yes.
I said very firmly and clearly, India is not game for second-hand market.
Right.
India will make first-hand products. And ultimate, and Anant, you must know how the tectonic shift we have been able to do in really emphasizing our independence.
Yes.
This, you know it very well. So many new policies were required to be made. And there was a lot of opposition to that. People who say, we will manufacture, we will install, and we will also maintain.
Yes.
No open source.
Yes.
I said, no compromise.
Yes.
The source has to be open.
Yes. Yes.
The same with the hardware manufacturing also. My electronic policy, my communication policy. Because I knew for sure, India is a huge market which no one wants to ignore.
Absolutely.
Be the platform, be the manufacturer. And obviously, there is huge talent of India's human resource.
Right.
I'm very happy that the world has recognized, appreciated, and accepted our insistence on tricky issues like open source and other nuances of our policy.
Absolutely. So, Raviji, now, we because countries are working so closely with corporates, with their respective corporates, and it becomes such a big part of, your strategic relationship. We have obviously taken a very strong stand with China, specifically with apps and our whole app diplomacy. In our Atmanirbharta, if now, how closely will you be watching, the participation and the involvement of Chinese companies? For instance, BSNL, has floated a tender for some 4G equipment. Will we look favorably, independently, or negatively towards maybe Chinese companies offering their products and hardware?
It will neither be prudent nor desirable for me to take the name of any country.
Right.
Except to highlight the general policy initiative which we are following.
Right.
Yes, we banned apps, close to 300, because the issue was data privacy, the issue was national security, the issue was national sovereignty. Therefore, in any exposure of companies, national security angle will also be important. Be it the private, be it the government.
Right.
And as far as the relevant financial rules are concerned, some changes have also taken place with regard to countries having physical adjacency with India.
Yes.
You can take a call. We don't want to be vindictive,
Yes.
but we don't want to compromise on India's strategic security.
Right.
That is how it will work out.
Of course. Raviji, coming to data privacy and our data privacy bill, the pandemic has made just digital and our data so much more important. It's become the center. Everything is online, as you have very eloquently said. Will we see the government take our data privacy protection law? Will it get made into law any faster now that post COVID that the country is so much more digitized?
I don't see any doubts about that. After all, we enacted the architecture after the widest consultation with the retired Supreme Court judge and was recommending it. Thereafter, it is under examination by the Select Committee of the Parliament.
Right.
And the Prime Minister was very clear that data is emerging contours of digital discourse.
Yes.
It must be subjected to the widest consultation possible.
Right.
And once the report comes, then we'll surely push it on a fast track for parliamentary approval.
Right.
But let me share some of my general ideas about data.
Yes.
Data I always link with digital sovereignty of India, because the digital sovereignty of India is also involved the autonomy of Indians as far as the ownership of their data is concerned.
Yes.
Therefore, the data must be procured through free consent voluntarily acquired. That data must be used for the objective for which it has been collected, number two. And the data fiduciary who procures that data must ensure proper safety and sanctity of that data. We have, as you know, very well aware, there are three categories: the critical data, which will remain in India; the sensitive data, which shall go with the consent, either an individual or the groups. I do acknowledge the implicit need for data movement across the globe, to keep the digital commerce intact. But the ground rule of that movement must be very clearly laid out. Next, there must be reciprocity in the data sharing of the world. And again, we shall never compromise on our digital sovereignty, data sovereignty. Why I'm saying so, Anand, is we produce billions of data, 1.3 billion people, 1.20 billion mobile phones. Indians are enjoying digital appetite like no one. We have welcomed that. Therefore, that aspect has to be kept in mind. The second thing, one of my very clear wishes, if I can share with you the future roadmap. I want India to become a big center of data economy. Data economy in the future. When I talk of data economy, I obviously means data cleaning, data processing, data innovation. If I can use that expression, data refinery. India has huge potential to become a data refinery. So many new data centers are also coming in private sector. Therefore, that data economy must prosper in India by developing a complete ecosystem of that regard. That is one of my wish, and I am working in that direction very clearly. Therefore, if I can tell you in lighter vein, we may have missed the 2G or 3G. For the new data initiative, India should not lag behind. And I'm very happy and thrilled to share with you, the world is also looking towards our data law, which we are going to pass very soon.
Wonderful. So Raviji, maybe I can't resist therefore asking is, have you been following what's happening with WhatsApp and their privacy, communication? And maybe I'll ask a pointed question. Are you still on WhatsApp?
I'm not. Okay. But this is an issue which my department is examining.
Yes.
Therefore, being the final authority, it will not be proper for me to make any comment.
No, of course.
But except to flag one thing very clearly, be it WhatsApp, be it Facebook, be it any digital platform, you are free to do business in India.
Yes.
But do it in a manner without impinging upon the rights of Indians who operate there.
Right.
Okay. And the sanctity of personal communications needs to be maintained. For instance, a doctor is talking to his client, his patient. That is a privileged communication.
Yes.
A lawyer is talking to his client. That's a privileged communication. The family is talking among each other with various WhatsApp groups.
Yes.
The sanctity and privilege of this communication needs to be maintained.
Yes.
I'm very clear about it.
Yes.
I know there will be pressures for sharing of this. This is plainly unacceptable.
Yes.
Let me make it very, very clear and emphatic.
Yes.
I've only spoken on principles. The details my department is working. I have to await that process.
Ravi ji, 5G पे आप कुछ कहिए. 5G पे, I mean, the reserve price was, I thought, quite high. आपके you know everything about this space.
Let me Anand, tell you, as far as 5G is concerned, we have already. First of all, you must remember that 5G is still evolving globally.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. No country can say that we are all complete 5G.
Yes.
But we have already. But yes, we missed 2G and 3G and 4G. We don't want to miss 5G.
Yes.
And therefore, we have developed an Indian test bed. IITs are involved so that all innovative aspects of 5G can be considered. And thereafter, as far as auction part is concerned, there is a mechanism. So how the prices are fixed, etc. Obviously, it will go through auction. But I have urged Indian players, and let me repeat my request to you, Anand, and to Financial Express, that Indian innovative mind must contribute to a 5G which is also made in India. Okay? Indians have got huge companies, big companies. Therefore, let me give a headline to you today that this is a request from the Communication and IT Minister to Indian players to be proactive in creating an Indian 5G model. Why not? India is a digital power. 5G is the future. Second thing is 5G must be developed in order to enable inclusive character of its processes for healthcare, for education, for farming. Because,
yes.
Anand, we don't know, I know you have got great digital interest yourself. We don't know the dimension and the expansive nature of 5G ecosystem.
Yes.
It will be of great speed, I know for sure.
Yes.
But how much disruption it will cause? What shall be the earth-shaking consequences it will ensue? We don't know. I'm afraid we'll have to wait that. But the cyber security angle is equally important, keeping country security in mind. But I'm very sure that whatever be the nature of the process, Indians' appetite for 5G would certainly be overpowering as a good commercial enterprise and a good innovative exercise. Now, you have moved with me in some parts of India when I was contesting elections.
Yes, yes. Never forget those memories.
Good. I would recommend you keep on moving in different parts of India.
I would love to.
Very educative.
Of course.
Have you seen even the commonest of people in the hinterland of India would love to have a smartphone?
Yes.
They tell me कि sir हम googling भी करते हैं अब. This is exciting news for me.
Yes.
They have learned to Google. They get information. In the same process, I feel they would like to go for 5G also. Yes, we'll have to create the ecosystem, and we will also have to create the safety walls. Both. This is how I foresee 5G.
Wonderful. Ravi, you have time for one more, or you want to?
Last, tell me.
Last. My last question, Ravi, I have to ask you on the payments. Now NPCI has put in a 30% cap, market share cap on payments platforms, whether it's Google Pay or Phone Pay or Paytm, whatever your payment platforms are. We have come in and put in a market share cap. How do you see this playing out? Do you see such market share caps being enforced by regulatory bodies on various other things as well? And what's your thinking behind it?
This is a matter which requires some examination, to be very honest with you.
Okay.
Because it has implications both for me as an IT communication minister, It is implication both for me for the finance ministry. It is
Yes.
also implication for me for the RBI as the principal regulator.
Yes.
Okay. But let me share some of my general views. My general views are, Anand, that it is so exciting to see the growth of India's digital payment ecosystem.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. In fact, apart from digital India and electronic manufacturing, digital payments and startup movement. Can you know that 2020, we added 20 new unicorn startups, $1 billion plus
Yes.
during hard times of COVID.
Yes.
They attracted some of the huge, best venture funds also during those periods.
Yes.
The rise of India's startup movement and digital payment is phenomenal. And obviously, world players are keen to come to exploit this market. No problem there. But there has to be some clear ground rules. And I am very clear, Anant, that while India is open to do business with digital platforms, delivery of services or digital payment or anything, but there has to be some clear norms. Okay. Europe has imposed tough norms. Okay. They are being asked to submit their replies to the various parliamentary committees in England and America.
Yes.
India is also no small country.
Yes.
We're a democracy governed by rule of law, and we would like the ground rule of their operations to be laid down in a proper lawful manner by the requisite regulator, which they need to follow.
Such a pleasure, Raviji. So nice to talk to you.
Thank you, Anant. Pleasure is mine too.
Thank
that I could get some time to exercise my digital experience with your imaginative mind. Huh?
Hey, how lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raviji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, Varun. Thank
for
you.
your valuable side. So I'm requesting everyone to stay back and join us after the short break. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.
Bye, Raviji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.